How to have fun, anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Nice stop. Gustafsson with his right arm. Boy, he stayed with it. I don't know how. And absolutely Rob Verhaeghe, who was trying to wait out the Swedish-born Philip Gustafsson. Chance for Minnesota here. Developing. Eriksson Ek scores! Off the rush. He beat Bobrovsky cleanly past his glove side. And the Minnesota Wild lead 5-1 here over the defending champs. And Bobrovsky would like to have that one back. Faber now right circle pass Eriksson Ek. Up top Zuccarello waiting, shooting, he scores! Traffic in front, it was deflected on the way through. It's a power play goal for the Wild, and they've got a 3-0 lead here at Sunrise early in the second. Draw comes to Kaprizov up top. Will survey. Snatched it along Zuccarello, left circle. Cross-ice pass, tip, bounce out in front. Eriksson right on the doorstep, banged it home. It's a power play goal, and the Wild have a 2-0 lead.
Yo, what's going on? Welcome to the 9 to Noon radio show. Yours truly, Paul Allen, with Eric Nordquist, the producer, on site at TRIA Rink for VOX in the Box. The Minnesota Wild and Faith and Family Night being the focus. And this is off a wonderful win Monday at Denver. And the Utah Hockey Club is at XL Energy Center tonight, 7 o'clock on KFAN. Kevin Gorg will be the co-host for the first hour. And joining us now is Minnesota Wild head coach John Hynes. Congratulations on the win Monday. That was fantastic to watch.
Yeah, thank you. That was a good game. Nice bounce back from the Nashville game, and nice to get a win on the road again.
Just not being at morning skates, but following reports, chances, Kaprizov and Spurgeon return this evening?
Yeah, they'll be in the lineup tonight.
Excellent. So now you'll get some reinforcements tonight. Even though we watch the games and or listen to the games and follow it closely, with them coming back, just rattle off some players who provided significant reinforcement for you during that time, who may either not play or have their minutes cut.
Yeah, I think if you start on the back end with Spurgeon coming back in, I think obviously Middleton and Faber had a brunt of the ice time, particularly when Faber came. When both Faber and Middleton came back. But I would say Johnny Merrill's played really, really solid for us. I think he really stepped up. Zach Bogosian, both those guys, 5-on-5 in on the penalty kill. I think that Chisholm, played top 4 minutes at times and had some power play activity for him. And I think David Juracek did a really good job. He came in and had a good showing for the 6 games, and it was nice to see him play. So I think on the back end, that's exactly what you need when you have the type of injuries that we had. Those guys all stepped up, and I'd say, Up front, I think that Rossi, Zuccarello, and Boldy were really consistent for us. Those guys were very good, game in and game out. I think Hartman's game is really coming. Foligno's playing, really good hockey right now. And Huzadinov, when he's had different opportunities to be able to, bounce around in the lineup. So it's really been tough to kind of just pick a couple different guys, but right off the top of my head, those guys all probably played significant roles in different situations and all came through at key times for us.
Right.
And, Coach, when you look at it, today marks a month to the day to the last time we saw Kirill Kaprizov on the ice. And in this month, your team has gone 7-5. If and when you get to where you need to go at the end of the year and you look back at this month with what you were dealing with, aside from Kirill being out, the multiple key guys that you were missing in these 4 or 5 weeks, how important is this stretch going to end up being for your team?
Well, it's a really important stretch. I think you're going to go through adversity at different times during the year, and then how do you respond to that? And I think we've responded pretty well to it. And one of the things I've said a couple different times is I think that when guys that play a lot of top minutes for you and play in key situations, when those guys go out, obviously other players they're forced to play more. But I think when you do that and you do it the way that we did it, I think your team gains confidence in 2 ways. I think your team becomes stronger because guys have to step up and play. So your individuals are more confident in their game, and that in turn makes the team game stronger. So now when you get players back, you want to have that mentality. It's great to have guys back, but they've got to come in and play the way that they need to play, such as in this situation, Kirill and Spurgeon. But then the rest of your guys have to continue to play at the level and the intensity level and have the impact in the game that they've had, regardless of who's in or out of your lineup.
With Kirill, we've watched you figure out that this guy has a different engine than most players, and he gets extra minutes, it seems like, every time he plays. Is there maybe a situation tonight where you have to wait and see? Because I know he's in great condition. He's looked great here at practice, but game conditioning is obviously different than training to get back on the ice after being away for a month. How do you measure that tonight?
Yeah, it's always tricky. I think you have to take it. I think you have to see how the game develops, how he's doing, how the team game is going to do. But I think, you're certainly cognizant of that coming in after the amount of time that he's had away from game conditions. The good thing, he's had some pretty good practices here, where sometimes you normally don't get. If we were playing games every other night, sometimes you're coming back from injury and you don't get a 45-minute practices. He's had a couple, which I think has helped. But we'll see how he does. Right now, it's good to have him back, and I know he's excited to get back in the lineup, and we'll see how it goes tonight.
Hockey's not a game where you can have limitations, right? I mean, if you're out there, it's full throttle.
Correct. Yeah, it's not like you can. I mean, the only
like
limitation.
Manage minutes.
At time. Well,
you can manage minutes, but manage reps.
Correct.
Yeah, you can manage reps too, but anyway, why don't you explain? You're the coach.
Yeah, no, exactly what you said.
That's great.
You can manage minutes, but I think it's
up here.
Once they get out,
Jacques Lemaire up in the perch.
Oh boy.
Well, you answered the question. I don't have to answer.
I did?
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is I'm thinking football. So I'm thinking, okay, somebody comes back, they go through some rigorous practices, if that's what you want to call them during the season. When they don't put the pads on, they don't bang during practices. They come back, they normally play 60 plays a game. Now they're playing 30. So, I mean, I guess you could do that with Kaprizov or Spurgeon, but it just doesn't seem like it works that way in hockey.
Yeah, not so much, because I think in football you can probably pick the exact plays that those guys are going to play and have the rep count on it. And here it's probably more overall minutes. Than it would be coming in and saying he's only going to play 17 minutes tonight. That's not what we do.
Well, let me try this one. 3-2. What is the art of a coach in deciphering between a player saying, "No, I'm good. No, I'm good," and then your training staff and/or doctor saying, "No, John, we probably should wait a little bit"?
Yeah, it's a fine balance,
yes,
between that, because you have to listen to both sides. Particularly, I think more when players are veteran players that they know their bodies, they know what they need to be game ready. And some of those guys are very different. Like, there's guys in our team that take a little bit longer. There's other guys that, for example, like a Jonas Brodin type of player, he could be out for a while, skate twice, and be ready to game. Mm-hmm. Matt Zuccarello, he's out for a month. right? And some of that month he doesn't do anything. He comes back, he's ready to play. He knows his body is ready. Sometimes the trainers may say, well, we'd like to see him in another practice, but then you may not have another practice. So it's not a complete science. It's a little bit of the art and science combined of listening to all parties. Once the player is medically cleared, then a lot of times you have to listen to both sides and then ultimately make the decision to play the player or give him another practice or whatever.
John Hynes, coach of the Minnesota Wild, Utah, in town this evening, 7 o'clock, KFAN. Kevin Gorg of FanDuel Sports Network is the first hour co-host.
Coach, do you feel like tonight you have to almost guard against the rest of the guys taking a deep breath and saying, God, we just beat Colorado, and now we're getting these two unbelievable players back. Jared Spurgeon, one of your top defensemen. Kirill Kaprizov, one of the best players in the world. That fear factor, I think, made a big difference in Denver. Your team played on point for 60 minutes. Is there a little in the back of your mind as a coach, fear of, okay, we can just take a deep breath, we're fine now, we're at home, and we got these guys back?
Not necessarily, because I think we've really talked about this stretch of games with our team. Obviously, with Nashville Central Division team, Colorado Central Division team, Utah Central Division team, Chicago Central Division team, Calgary right in the wild card spot. So we know right now there's a stretch of games here. Before you get to that Four Nations break, that we got to be on point, and we know we have to be strong. And if you want to try to put yourself in the best position. As the season goes on, you want to be able to play well and have a good record against the Central Division teams. And, our team's got to be on point against a really good hockey team here tonight. They just went to Winnipeg and beat them. So we got to be ready to go. And
Monday, in the victory MLK Day at Denver, I mean, you guys just took the fight to the Avalanche the entire game. I mean, the ice literally was tilted in a McKinnon game. So was there a stark change to the approach that afternoon compared to certainly Nashville or some other games? Did you crack the whip and get into them because they just didn't stop?
No, we had talked about a couple things prior to the Nashville game, and then in the Nashville game, and then on the day off, we met about some things, and we just felt like we weren't on the attack enough.
Met as a team?
As a team,
yeah,
and went through some things. Just our forechecking game, our offensive zone intensity, our gaps, our tracking with our forwards of making it more difficult to make the other teams defend more. And I thought we did a good job. I think it resonated with the players. They saw what we were talking about. We found solutions to our game, and then they went out and executed at a high level.
In Denver, it was the second time this season that Marc-Andre Fleury played consecutive games, and he was pretty quiet because you guys played so well for two periods. He was unbelievably sharp and a difference maker in period number 3 at the end when they were pushing down 3-1. The health of Gustafsson forced that. How is he coming along, and who starts tonight?
Gus is coming along well. Obviously, it wasn't an injury; it was a sickness over the weekend. So we were planning on going into the weekend with Fleury playing against Nashville and Gus playing against Colorado, but the illness sidetracked that. But as you said, Flower came up big. He made key saves when we needed him. That's what you need from your goalie. And Gus has had some good practice days. He skated on the off day to get back on the ice. He had a good practice day yesterday. He'll skate this morning, so he's ready to go.
Okay, excellent. Now, with Monday and Fleury, again, hide the women and children with this hardcore hockey question. The rebounds or lack thereof. I would imagine that's an art of a goaltender, defending a certain way. But I mean, there were no rebounds. I mean, he did a really good job. Oh, of course, the defenseman too, but limiting the juicy rebounds. Specifically when you guys were trying to draw away and win. Do you agree?
I agree. I thought he did a really good job with his rebound control, and then he made some big saves too on tips. Like there were some shots in traffic. So it was his rebound control, I think his competitiveness and tracking pucks off of tips and kind of screenshots, which made a difference, and he came up with some key saves for us.
You guys are 1-1 with Utah this year. One game had 10 goals, the other had 3. What's the best way to play these guys?
Well, they have, one, I think their power play is deadly. So I think your penalty discipline is obviously important because they do have some very high-end, high-octane power play players. The other part is, they're a good team off the rush. They make you defend and have good sort out. So I think when we don't have the puck, we got to be on point. But again, very similar to Nashville and I think, Colorado. I think our offensive intensity is the best defense. And if you're playing a team that's they're very good off the rush if you give them time and space. But if they got to come in their D zone, they got to stop, they have to defend, they have to check, they have to sort out. It takes away from that. So the approach is more of how can we be more of an attacking team and be a strong defensive team while playing offense.
Last one from me. Logan Cooley has scored in 4 consecutive games, including Monday in that win against Winnipeg. The former Gopher star. What makes him a tough customer?
Well, he's a good skater. He's got good offensive instincts. He's got good skill. I think he's a slippery guy, just in the sense that he may not be the biggest, but he's shifty, good hockey sense, can skate, and his offensive instincts and his skill make him a problem.
Last one.
Liam Ogren had a couple of helpers in that game against the Avalanche, and he spent a significant amount of time in Iowa. And when we talked to him when he got called back up, he said that time really mattered. Have you seen a different version of him since he's returned?
Yeah, I think what you're seeing with Ogren is a lot of times what you see with young players is he's getting a taste of the NHL multiple times now. He goes back to Iowa. You know, he goes through a little bit of adversity, the disappointment of getting sent back, getting his game going, playing an important role there, gets another opportunity here. Just see more, he's more comfortable, seems as he's gaining more confidence. And what I see on the ice is the game, understanding the systems and structure and how you want to play, it's more natural to him. And when it becomes more natural to you, you're not thinking as much or you're not trying to be in the right place. It becomes instinctual. Now you're noticing his speed, his competitiveness, his offensive instincts, because it's all coming together for him. So it's good to see.
Have fun tonight, all right?
All right, thanks, guys.
Appreciate the time, John. Thanks not only for now, but every single week. We appreciate you. Courtesy of TimberTech and TimberTech.com, what's on deck 9 to noon includes a fellow head coach, Bob Motzko of the Golden Gophers hockey team, 3rd in the country, taking on number 2 Michigan State from East Lansing this weekend. Friday's games on KFAN. And we're going to hook up with Bob around the corner. Plus, there's much more, including Hockey Day Minnesota is this Saturday. It's Hockey Immortality. It's in Shakopee.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Big party down in Shakopee at the amusement park. We come on the air at 8 in the morning on FanDuel Sports Network. This Saturday we'll be on till well after the Wild game. So it's going to be 13 or 14 hours of nonstop hockey. 3 outdoor games, 2 boys high school games in the middle. Speaking of the Golden Gophers, the women's team takes on Bemidji State.
Are you voxing any games?
I am going to be between the benches as one of the analysts and reporters for both the first 2 games. So game number 1, LaPanta and Carter up in the cozy, warm booth, me between the benches. Game 2, your buddy, Jamie Hirsch.
Yeah.
My buddy, Gigi Marvin.
Wow.
Me between the benches. And then we hustle over to the XL and do the Wild game at night.
That's Kevin Gorg. That's terrific. Hockey Day Minnesota coming up this Saturday on FanDuel Sports Network. Eric Nordquist produces on site. Max Fuller produces back at the 651 Carpets Plus Studios, that is. And Max has the cash thing. Good morning.
Good morning, PA. The Fan wants to give you a shot to put $1,000 in your hand with our national cash contest. Enter the keyword bonus at KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. That's keyword bonus. Enter it now at KFAN.com.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you want to get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
You know him from the Bad Boys franchise. Now see him live at Mystic Lake. Actor and comedian Martin Lawrence is bringing the Y'all Know What It Is tour to Mystic Showroom on May 2nd and 3rd. Tickets go on sale this Friday, and you can get yours at mysticlake.com.
As we mentioned earlier, the Golden Gophers, number 3 in the country, Michigan State, number 2, and they hook up Friday and Saturday from East Lansing. Friday night's game is on KFAN. Welcome back to VOX in the Box at TRIA Rink, and let's go out to the airport and chat with the head coach of the Golden Gophers hockey team, Mr. Bob Motzko, joins us now. Bob, It's Paul Allen with your dear friend Kevin Gorg. How are you?
All right. Good to talk to you guys. Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, Bobby, what, if you don't mind sharing, what gate are you guys at? Because maybe there are some listening right now at the airport who just want to come by and say hello and wish you well.
Well, you'd have to get over to Signature. We're at the Signature gate. So,
three in the country.
Pretty
You
tough
fly
to find us
charter
over here.
Yeah, do you guys always fly charter?
Not always. Most of the time, we're on it, so it's a pretty nice way to travel.
Your longtime good friend Kevin Gorg is here for VOX in the Box, and he's excited to chat with you.
Always fun to connect with Bobby. And, it's kind of the dog days of winter, the dog days of the season. But I bet when you have a series like this, hooking up with Michigan State, a team that came to your house and took 3 out of 4 points in NHL standards anyway with a tie and a win, this has to get everybody up and excited for what could be a really spectacular weekend of college hockey.
Yeah, it's all cranking up now, and Gorgie, you're absolutely right. You've always got your rivalry games that next week Wisconsin, but then every year, when you're playing for marbles, I call it, you don't know when it is. These weekends pop up, and this is one. Both Michigan State and ourselves are having great years. We had 2 great battles when they were in our place in December. We're 1 point separated in the standings. We're both pretty high in the rankings and playing for the pairwise. And it sets up just a great weekend. And it's great for coaches. You don't have to say anything. The guys know it. And there's going to be a lot of juice this weekend, and we're fired up to get out there.
And I'm glad you mentioned the split with Michigan State earlier this season. It was here. Looking back at it, reading some accounts of it, Bob, you guys were super banged up during that series. You guys were all banged up with injuries. Are you healthier into this weekend?
We are. We have rounded third base, and we're screaming home right now and getting bodies back now. No, you can tell I'm sick. We had 6 guys sick this week, but that's everywhere. Everybody's battling that stuff. But Cal Thomas is back, Nevers is back, Falloon is back, Paulson is back, and Wood was gone at the first game at the Canadian. We were down about 5 players that series. That's part of sports, so you got to play through it, and I give our guys this enormous amount of credit when we went through. You're almost reluctant to talk about it because you're always one play away from going the other direction, but we're moving in the right direction. Bodies are back, getting back in shape. We're starting to look like our team again. And I think that really bodes well for us coming down the stretch when we get everybody back on the same page.
Coach, we're sorry you're not feeling well, but if we were to go back 3 or 4 years, you wouldn't be at Signature with this team. They'd be flying to Signature. You'd be at the other terminal wearing an astronaut suit to stay away from everybody so nobody gets sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no question. And but the buildings are full again. We had just great crowds this last weekend. Michigan State, they were down for a while. Adam Nightingale took over the program, really utilized the portal. He's a really good coach and good, one of the young and up-and-comers. And their crowds are packed, so it's going to be an intense weekend. A classic Big Ten weekend right now, what we're starting to see all over our league.
I look at your team. You've got a lot of top-end talent, but I want to talk about Jimmy Snuggerud and what he's meant to your program. Here's a guy that certainly has the talent where he probably could have jumped out a year ago, but loves the college experience, loves your program, what you're building, wants to win a national championship. How much does that mean in this era, Bob, where college hockey, it's a different world now, but a kid really just wants to wear the maroon and gold?
Well, it's awesome. I can tell you that they put their heart and soul into the program, and it's the guys that came before too. And I mean, I'm just going to talk recent history, but it's in the culture of Gopher hockey. It's been there long before I got there. But just Brock Faber stayed through it. Look what obviously, now he's so well known in our area. They've all heard his name, what he's doing with the Wild. And quietly, Jackson Lacombe stayed with us for 4 years, and he's doing terrific with the Anaheim Ducks. Nyes is tearing it up right now in Toronto. And this helped Jimmy Snuggerud. He is playing his best hockey right now. in the evolution, always had the talent to shoot. He's really rounding out his game. And what's fun about it is he knows it. Like he feels it. He felt the pressure last year, and it really was hard on him. He knows he made the right decision, and he knows he's playing his best hockey. And it's really cool to see. And he's just got a little grin on his face right now. And I think he was Player of the Week last week in Big Ten, or Offensive Player of the Week. That's going to continue because, even in practice, our guys know it. And it's really going to benefit his career. It sure benefits us, that we kept Jimmy through his junior year. But it's going to help him long term. And I think that paves the way for other guys that they don't have to run early. You don't have to chase it. You got a lot of work yet to do here, but they put their heart in it. We really hope that pays dividends for years to come with the players that we get into our program that trust us, and the NHL teams trust us, and they stay with us.
And Bob, you were rattling off those names, and one would include former players that you coach, certainly the ones that are high end. Tonight, XL Energy Center, 7:00, Logan Cooley against Brock Faber. I mean, I know it's a team game, but those guys, we talked about it last year when they first met. I think it was at Arizona. Those guys have had some interesting battles so far in the NHL, haven't they?
Yeah, and Cooley, Cooley left after 1 year, but a little bit of a phenom, and this year he's coming into his own in the NHL as well. So we've been pretty lucky to have awful lot of great players coming through our program, and we think we got a few of them, on our current team that you're going to be watching in the NHL very, very soon too.
Yes, sir. For Michigan State, their goalie, Trey Augustine, is ballyhooed. I mean, he's quite hyped, when you learn about him like I have the last couple of days. How do you get pucks by this guy?
Well, terrific goalie. He's two-time gold medalist now with the U.S. junior team. We've gotten to him a few times, but it's not like when I say get to him, it's you're just getting a couple by him. And then when you get two teams like we're playing right now, it's going to be tight hockey. It's going to be 60 minutes of giving it everything you got, and limit your mistakes, be good on your special teams, put a lot of traffic in front of them, and they're going to be trying to do the same to us. And you keep taking your whacks at him, and he's got his strengths, covers the low area of the net very well. Got to put pucks a little higher on him, but the biggest thing is traffic in front of him, and Gorgie, you know what that does. And you got to get in his head. He's got to know he's got company all weekend long.
Yeah, it's a big challenge because he doesn't seem to get off his game, even if there is a lot of traffic around the blue paint. He's got a lot of poise, and watching him win that gold medal again this year, this kid is extraordinary, and it's going to be a great challenge for your team. And I look at the pairwise, and this is rare, Bob. Two teams from the same conference in the top three in the pairwise, and the reason it matters so much is the top four end up being the one seeds in the NCAA tournament, and that path to the Frozen Four gets that much easier. I look at the pairwise, though, in the top 7 or 8, and you've got unbelievable programs that are all separated by a point or two. So how much does it matter to you guys as coaches knowing what lies ahead in the next month or two?
Well, I got a little different approach to the tournament, and it's just more my experience. I want to be playing our best hockey at the end, and because I've been a 4 seed, 3 seed, 2 seed, and 1 seed, it doesn't matter. Whatever region you get sent to, and I've won in all those regions, being a 4, 3, 2, or 1 seed. You want to be playing your best. You want to be healthy, and sometimes it's a little bit of luck of your draw. Who you get matched up with. So we're just going to play out the season right now, and we're in a heck of a battle. At the top of our standings, we want to stay up there. We want to, we start talking about. We're about a week or two away. We start really talking about your Big Ten championship. Our whole key is to be playing our best hockey at the end of the year and put ourselves in the best position to win a national championship. And we're going to stick with that.
Coach Motzko, speaking of goalies, we talked about Trey Augustine. For you guys, with the Gophers, 3 in the country, Michigan State, 2 in the country. Massive series this weekend. Friday and Saturday are the games from East Lansing. Bob and the crew are about ready to take off from Signature Airport in Minneapolis. Very nice for him to make time for Kevin and I. With goaltenders, you guys are steadfast with rotating Airy and Soulier. So why is that? And do you prefer to settle on one as you approach February and March?
Oh, well, when we came into the season, we brought Liam Soulier out of the Penn State, out of the portal, because our young guy Nathan Airy hadn't played a lot. He was injured in the second half of last year. To have a veteran and a young guy, and we started splitting them early in the year. I've always said I don't pick number one goalies. I just pick starters, and the number one goalies determine who's going to take over the reins. These guys just keep battling, and they're doing a great job for us. And they haven't given us, and this is a positive, they haven't given us the nod which way to go. So we keep doing what we're doing. And as of right now, we're going to stick with it. But it's getting closer to the playoffs, and this is when the mood starts to change. And we'll see if there's a change in that coming up. But they're going to determine that by their play and the confidence our guys have in front of them. Right now, our guys have confidence in both of them.
Back to the series that you guys played here against Michigan State. You were all banged up. You said you're rounding third now with the injuries, despite some maybe minor illnesses. Right now, it seems like you're going great guns with the right players at the right time. Now, obviously, you never want to have players hurt, but who are some of the guys who stepped up with added minutes and responsibility and lent a helping hand?
Well, Connor Kurth, Brody Lamb, that junior class, and for two guys that really helped from the offensive side, were guys like Snugger would get a lot of the attention. Brody Lamb, I think, is leading the country in power play goals, but it's kind of quietly been our D-core, and I don't even know if it's quietly, but we have 3 juniors who now are upperclassmen with Chesley Middlestat, and Cal Thomas, with Renzel as a sophomore, and Mikey Kester. Like those, and Cal was hurt through that, and Whipple and Leo Gruba, but our D-core kind of anchored us through the time, when we were going through this, where they kept games calm with our goaltending. We're the number one team in the country offensively, and that's been by our depth. It hasn't been just by 1 or 2 guys. But I really believe that D-core has been the blood and guts behind our success. When things are when we were a little shorthanded, they kept games in neutral and gave us chances to come out on top. And it's a superior D-core. And I've been said 2 years ago that D-core with Faber, Lacombe, Johnson, and it was one of the better ones I'd ever had. This one's equal to the task. And now with Cal Thomas back, it is the strength of our team, and it's going to have to be if we're going to win big in the playoffs.
That was awesome.
Bobby, part of the magic with college hockey is the atmosphere in which the rinks you travel to. You're playing in back-to-back situations, the student sections. What is it like, and what are you expecting in East Lansing this weekend?
There's been a change. My 7th year in the Big Ten, and the first few years out there, and then we did have obviously the COVID thing. It was quiet building, and I had coached in the CCH, the old CCHA, for years, and that's when Ron Mason had Michigan State was a perennial power. It was one of the better buildings in the country. They did some great renovations, really upgraded their area. But their student section and their fans are back. The last couple of years, with Adam Dingham going again, it's an exciting building to play in, and that's what's kind of neat to see programs like that, resurrect themselves and get back on top where Michigan State had been for so many years. Ron Mason, Rick Comley, both have won national titles. Went through a little bit of a downturn, but they're back now.
Lastly, I know you guys fly at 10. Are we okay on time for a couple more minutes? And is Oliver Moore, does he happen to be by you?
He's not by me right now. I apologize for that.
Well, that's okay.
He's on the bus outside the terminal.
Okay, that's okay. Well, did you wish him a happy birthday yesterday? It was his 20th birthday yesterday. He's just a young man.
Luke Middle. We had 3 of them this week. Luke Middlestat and John Whipple and Ollie. So we had 3 birthdays this week.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully you can put the metaphorical icing on the cake this weekend against Sparty. What were you going to say?
Well, I got one crazy one for you. The first for me.
Yeah.
We've got a baby due. Aaron Huglin's wife is due, and so he's on standby. We may have to fly him back home.
Oh wow!
And so we're home next weekend. Then we have a bye. So all fingers are crossed right now that she can wait till the bye week. But she's ready to
I never
go.
thought that was coming.
Through this.
Let alone with college hockey.
I love it.
That's fantastic for Huglin, right?
Yeah, it's awesome, and he's been great for us. And
terrific.
So we're all having fun with it. The guys had a baby shower for him, and everybody's behind this. And,
that's sweet.
He's been married for 3 years, so he got married young.
So next time we chat, maybe we can hook up with Paul Martin, who's Gophers Hockey Immortality, and I learned he was your director player of development. Does he travel with you guys?
Yes, he does, and we for sure will get Paul on. And,
that's awesome.
And I coached Paul when I was an assistant coach back in 2002 and 2003 when he was there, and he came back, got his degree, got his master's, worked on that, and he's a terrific sounding board for especially for me to have him around, and loves the program, and it's awesome to have him with us.
Is Micheletti chewing your ear off about some neutral zone trap he uncovered via film?
Oh God, yeah. We're guest listeners when Mick's around. There's no question.
We all are. That's for sure.
You're the best, man, and I'll call you soon. Best of luck this weekend. We know it's big, and you guys will handle it with poise as you are wont to do. Thank you, Bob. Safe travels. Hopefully you feel better soon.
All right, thanks, guys. Good chat.
Appreciate you. Bob Motzko from Signature Airport, about ready to take off to East Lansing for a big one this weekend. Number 2 Sparty against the Golden Gophers, 3 in the pairwise, 3 in the country, and it's Friday and Saturday, and Friday night's game with Pat Micheletti on the call is on FM 100.3 KFAN. All right, well, part of the necessary evils around the corner.
Speaking of big ones.
At Wild Radio Joe, terrific play-by-play voice. Love listening to him call Wild games. Love listening to him call the matinee from the Mile Get High City on Monday with the team winning by multiple goals in a McKinnon game. But there could be a little fly, Eagles fly element to the next segment, and that would be the necessary evil portion of the equation. Find out what we mean when we return to Vox in the Box from TRIA Rink, Wild in Utah this evening, 7 o'clock, KFAN. We'll be right back.
How to have fun, anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Grand in Your Hand is back on KFAN. We have 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday. That's every hour from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. To enter the keywords and learn more, head to KFAN.com.
Faith and family at XL Energy Center this evening. It begins at 5:30. Then the game at 7. It features Ryan Carter, Bill Butters, along with Jake Taylor. Learn more about that at wild.com. You can get ticket deals, too, if you'd like to join this evening. And it's the Wild and the Utah Hockey Club, 7 o'clock, KFAN. The play-by-play voice on the radio for the Minnesota Wild joins us now. He is Joe O'Donnell, and he's at Wild Radio Joe via the tweet machine. Please follow him as 9 to noon does. And Joe joins Kevin and I now. Who's more excited? You to call Kaprizov games again, or Eagles, Vox, Merrill, Reese, and Sunday's NFC title game against Washington, and good morning.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
How we doing, my friends?
What's
How we
going
doing?
on, my brother?
Thanks for having me, as always.
That was Nordo's passive-aggressive way to silence an Eagles fan.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Bad production work on my part.
I've seen it from you guys before. To answer your question, well, Merrill Reese, year 50 or whatever, calling Eagles games. He might be nearing the end of the road. Hopefully I'm not calling Kaprizov games. We'll see about that. Time will tell. But it might be a tie, because the Wild need Kaprizov and Spurgeon back. The games have lacked electricity. They've stayed afloat. They've done what they could to stay in a good playoff spot. So it's great to have some star talent back. But yeah, I'm excited for Sunday as well.
Is it Havertown or Havertown?
Havertown.
Okay, so Joe is a Havertown, Pennsylvania native. How close is that to Philadelphia?
About 25 minutes from the stadiums.
Okay, so it's a suburb of Philadelphia.
Yep.
And thus you grew up an Eagles fan, Flyers fan. What about the Phillies?
Oh, yeah, Phillies.
I'm not going to ask about the 76ers. You're a hockey guy.
You got to trust the process there. Maybe at some point, after a decade of tanking, to go to a decade of mediocrity.
Well, Joel Embiid just caught a stray.
Yeah, well,
he never plays.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
I'd like him to catch a few more, to be honest.
Okay.
Grew up outside of Philly.
You're salty right now. Jaden Daniels has you a little nervous, doesn't he?
Game week.
Yeah, well, look, I got to be dialed in here at some point, so might as well let the anxiety and the nerves.
Should have seen him marching
jitters
around Denver on Sunday. It was a sight to be seen.
Was he wearing a game-worn Harold Carmichael?
He did have a T-shirt that looked like it came from the 70s when Carmichael was a thing.
That is not true.
That's the worst part you took us to.
Explain that. Well, what are we talking about? The T-shirt. What was it?
Just an old-school Eagles T-shirt. I mean, it was a cool shirt, man. I mean, I'm not ripping the shirt.
Yeah.
The shirt had rips on its own, but
come on,
it's probably for good luck, and it worked. That's the bottom line.
I had the vet hoodie going. South Philadelphia pride, right there. Our dump that turned into now a parking lot. You remember Veterans Stadium?
I've been there. I almost got my ass kicked there.
Yeah,
really?
Should have.
I've never been to the
Elway jersey.
vet.
Yeah.
I've only heard about the 700 level and the jail that's underneath that always was filled.
Oh yeah. Judge Seamus McCaffrey residing at the vet.
Unbelievable.
Wow. Do they have the same thing at Lincoln Financial?
I don't know.
I think they have holding cells.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
they're like sober-up tanks, you know? You've had too many, they put you in there. When the game's over, you can go home.
Okay, so wait a second here. So you guys were in Denver Sunday for an MLK Day game.
Yeah.
So is there like an Eagles bar or something in Denver?
Well, I found it.
You did?
Yeah.
Right next to a dispensary, I hope? Just kidding.
I felt like I needed it after walking in that place.
There were about 500 people in there.
Well,
elbow to elbow.
You're going to need a 25 milligram gummy middle of this game coming up this weekend after you get a load of Jaden Daniels.
Gorgon Walsey turned around and walked out the second we walked in.
Smart play.
Seriously, though?
Yeah,
it was 2-pack. The DJ was bumping Meek Mill. It was
brutal. I'm telling you, Wes and I were like,
Meek
no
Mill.
chance.
Yeah. That sounds awful.
Oh,
it was so bad.
It was
so bad.
It was a vibe. I'll tell you that.
Holy cow, was it lit?
I mean, it was.
If you were 25 and drunk, I'm sure it was.
Joe's
I'm
like
57 and sober.
Joe's like
hard pass.
This bleeds fire.
Yeah. They were playing
fire.
the fight song.
They did have the fight song going, which I know he loved.
Fly Eagles Fly.
They had some Hall and Oates going in between commercials.
Now
Little
you're
Philly
hitting my
band.
heart.
Yeah,
Rocky music.
They did it right. They had Eye of the Tiger before kickoff.
Wow.
Boxing in the back.
And I'm telling you, it had to be 500 people.
It was packed.
Daryl Hall and John Oates, my all-time favorite band.
Love them.
And Daryl Hall, my all-time leading favorite vocalist. They met in an elevator at Temple University. You probably maybe even know this. It's Philly Immortality.
Yeah.
But they were playing for different bands. Daryl Hall was the lead for a band called the Temptones because he was a background vocalist for a second for the Temptations. Huh. Paul Williams brought him in because he could really sing. John Oates was with another band. It was like a competition. There was a fire at Temple University. They got stuck on an elevator together for 90 minutes. And it's like, hey, let's start thinking about Maneater.
Yeah, I knew they were, I think Upper Darby, which is right down the road from where I grew up. I knew they were a Philly duo, but I had no idea.
Putztown for Daryl Hall.
Okay.
That's where he's from. I think it's called Putztown.
I never knew that. Cool.
Kutztown, maybe where the school is? There's a university out there.
It looks like Potts.
Pottstown.
Yeah,
it's Pottstown.
But it's not Putz, it's Potts.
Yeah, Potts.
Yeah, that's right. Well, he actually was Daryl Franklin Hohl, Hohl, with like the two aggressive dots above the O, which you've probably seen a million times in hockey. I didn't think the old Daryl Hall and Oates was going to work.
Yeah.
I changed his name to Hall.
Yeah.
That's a little musical history for you.
Sarah Smile, Rich Girl, you name it. I'm right there.
The mayor of Philadelphia, Max Fuller, clearly said mayor is excited for this weekend's game.
ELGSES Eagles! Let's go, Birds!
At least she got that part right.
Yeah, Max, could you just hit that one more time?
ELGSES Eagles!
She just made
Let's
your
go,
team
Birds!
Hispanic. It's like El Jules.
Yeah, I think that's
Close
from
enough.
a couple years ago, but it is relevant at
Not
all
as good
times.
as 2 years varsity, but that's good.
You gotta spell it correctly.
Joe O'Donnell, Radio VOX for the Minnesota Wild. We'll hear him tonight, 7 o'clock, against Logan Cooley, Clayton Keller, and the old Utah Hockey Club. The Eagles, by the way, are at U.S. Bank Stadium next year.
They are?
I believe, at U.S. Bank Stadium.
Okay.
I think so, yeah. But we were going through some...
No, it's a crazy schedule. I think, and the Ravens are here, too.
Yeah,
and
but
Jalen's
Eagles
here.
are, right?
Absolutely, I think Eagles are
Yeah,
here.
so we get Daniels... We get like Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow,
No Bo Nix.
and Lamar.
We got no Bo Nix.
At home next year. I mean, seriously, what those tickets are going to be hot items. Ain't no doubt about that. All right, so just last on football, landing the plane. Seriously speaking, you love the squad. We've known that for years. This matters to you as sports-related distraction, and just like, when you were little Joe O'Donnell growing up in Havertown, this matters to you, man.
Yeah.
How do you win and why?
Saquon and dominating the line of scrimmage. I think Jalen Carter as well needs to wreck the game. He did so late against the Rams with that sack on third down and forcing the fourth down throwaway when the game was on the line. And with the right guard of the Commanders being new,
Sam Cosmi
I think
is out.
One snap maybe all year at right guard or something like that, or no snaps at right guard. So,
really?
Yeah, he's a swing tackle kind of backup guy. I mean, Jalen Carter's got to have a day. They're going to double team the heck out of him, but if he can get penetration up the middle there, cause some havoc on Daniels, they got to get him on the ground. If he breaks too many scrambles for third and fourth down conversions, they'll be in some trouble. I'm just hoping they show up and Hurts can move around a little bit, make some plays.
I know you dive into Eagles sports radio throughout the week via the internet. How worried are all the Eagles fans in Philly about Hurts and his health facing a Washington team that's peaking right now, Joe? And Hurts did not look right in the second half of that football game.
Yeah, he hasn't looked right for a lot of the year.
They weren't doing the tush push with him. I think they were running Saquon in short yardage versus the tush push.
They hated each other a month and a half ago after winning 8 in a row, and Brandon Graham had to go on a radio show to make things right.
Yeah,
that's your squad.
No, that's how we roll.
Yeah, nice
if
squad.
There's no drama, it's not a day in the life of Philadelphia Eagles fan.
You think Hurts is okay? You think he's good to go?
I mean, he's good to go. I don't know if he's 100%. We'll find out early. If he's not moving around out there, it's going to change the Commanders' game plan and make the Eagles have to, attack them through the air a little bit more than they'd like.
Radio Joe, Utah at Wild.
Yeah.
Who wins and why?
I think the Wild figure it out tonight on home ice in a big way. I really do. And I think they take care of business against Calgary at home on Saturday. And I think they go to Chicago on Sunday, and I'm calling a 3-game sweep this week. I think the team gets right back on track. I think if they come out and if they don't have the mindset of, Spurgeon's back, Kaprizov's back, we'll let them do it. And they play the way they played Monday in Denver with the infusion of 46 and 97 in the lineup. I think they take care of business here tonight. This is a big game for both teams. Utah's hanging around a playoff spot. Wild have not been particularly great at home. I think tonight they get back in style on home ice in a big way.
When you're calling games at Ball Arena, do you happen to catch a whiff of any bud, like during the course of the game? Because I was at a Wild Avalanche game a couple of seasons
I remember
ago.
you stopped up in the booth with your daughter, right?
Right, yeah, a little fist bump for Radio Joe. And I'm not joking. The smell's all over the place in that arena, in that state.
Ooh, that smell.
Right.
Yeah.
You smell any when you were there?
I did not in Ball Arena. But
in
you
that
walk
Eagles
around
bar, though.
You walk around town. And you don't have to go very far.
Logan Cooley and Clayton Keller can wreck games if one is not prepared, right?
Yeah, well, and it's a big loss for Utah, too, because Dylan Gunther is out, and he's another kind of little, sneaky, aggressive offensive player with some east-west shiftiness to his game. So without Dylan Gunther, a little bit of a less offensive threat for Utah. But if you let Cooley and Keller get rolling in transition, like John Hynes said earlier in the hour, you could be in some trouble.
My man, good luck to your
thanks, Pierre.
squad this
Appreciate
weekend.
you.
Fly, Eagles, fly, if that's appropriate for you.
Nordo, great job as always, buddy.
Thank you.
And have fun tonight in the game against Utah. All right, you ready, Nordo?
Yes.
Hail to the
Commanders.
Hail victory.
Commanders.
On the warpath, fight for old DC. Runner, pass, and score, we want a lot more. Beat 'em, swamp 'em, touchdown, let the point soar. Fight on, till you have won. Sons of Washington, rah, rah, rah. Hail to the
Commanders.
Hail victory.
Commanders.
On the warpath, fight for old DC. We'll be right back.
How to have fun, anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.